Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and Apple released iOS 26.6 Beta 4. iOS 26.6 Beta 4 is currently available to developers, and it's on all iOS 26 supported devices if you're a developer. However, iOS 26.6 Public Beta 4 should be out fairly soon. We thought it would be already out by the time you're watching this video, but hopefully it will be out either later today or sometime tomorrow. However, if you're running iOS 27 Beta 3, you won't see this update as you're on a newer version, and you would need a computer in order to downgrade to this version, since it's actually an older version than iOS 27. This came in at 1.38 gigabytes on the iPhone 17 Pro Max and was released alongside all the other iOS 26.6 betas as well, with iPad, Mac, tvOS, HomePodOS, Watch, and Vision. Also, we got iOS 27 Beta 3 and all the other betas that go along with that at the same time. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the build number and talk about what's new. So we'll go into our settings, we'll go to General, Software Update, wait for it to load, tap on More Details, and then tap on the version number. And as you can see, the build number is 23G5057C. And this particular update does have a modem update coming from Beta 3 to Beta 4. So if you're on an iPhone 17 Pro, 17 Pro Max, you should see that, as well as some other devices also. As far as new features, changes, and updates, well, there's no visible new features in this update. It appears Apple is continuing to work under the hood, refining things, and basically refining what iOS 26.6 is, even though we're close to iOS 27. There are code changes throughout with Apple Intelligence, the kernel, and more, and possibly some fixes to Apple CarPlay, as that has been very problematic. But again, there's no physical changes that we can see. But things in the code, for example, hint at blocked contacts. I've mentioned this before, where if we go into contacts, for example, and maybe you're blocking contacts, it does have a limit now that's set at about 3,000, and if you hit that limit, it will let you know. Also, the other feature should be the ability for iPhone to sense if someone is quickly grabbing your phone in an attempt to steal it. We don't know if this is implemented yet, as we would expect it to let us know within our security settings. So again, if they do this when it's released to the public, hopefully we'll see that here, implemented under the setting for stolen device protection. Hopefully we'll see it here, where if someone does try and take this out of your hand quickly, it will then just auto-lock the display. So that's a great feature. Maybe they'll wait for iOS 27 for that though. It also seems like it could help Spotlight Search get ready for iOS 27 to help with some of the indexing there. As far as anything else, well, there's nothing, again, physical that you can see. Anything from the App Store going into that, going into different applications, you're not seeing many splash screens or anything there. As far as bugs and bug fixes, they have fixed the widget bug. I showed this before. It looks like it's still working fine, where you tap on a widget, tap off of it, tap your dots at the bottom, it brings you to your different pages. Prior to this, it would just crash the display and respring. Also, hopefully, like I mentioned, it fixes the CarPlay issues with connectivity, where it was just constantly disconnecting with iOS 26.5.1 and some with iOS 26.5.2. The Wallpaper Bug does seem to be fixed in this update still. So again, if we go back out, go back in, it looks like it's resolved and there's not really an issue here. So again, it seems like it's fixed quite a bit. As far as other notes, well, the good thing is if we go to Apple's public-facing release notes, you'll see here that everything seems like it's resolved, from HealthKit to the object capture to stickers and StoreKit. There's no known issues that they're listing here, so it looks like we're close to completion. Of course, we do expect some security updates with this, along with maybe a few changes in features, but again, most of those are being saved for iOS 27, but many of you asked me to make the video as you wanted to know if there was anything in it or not. As far as if you should install iOS 26.6 Beta 4, well, absolutely if you're on previous betas. Now, if you're on iOS 26.5.2 and you want to try this out and see if maybe it resolves some issues for you, I would wait for at least the RC for that. But again, it seems like it's pretty good already. Typically, I never recommend a beta to anyone on their main device, unless maybe they have a secondary device or a backup with a computer to restore if they have an issue. When it comes to performance, it's performing very well. The only time I saw it lag whatsoever is when I took it right off of the charger before this video, unlocked it and swiped, and it was a little bit laggy there. I've seen that from time to time when it's charging or sort of dormant for a while. Again, it seems like it's not doing that now, and everything is nice and smooth. You'll see maybe there was a little stutter there. It does not feel as smooth as iOS 27, for example. Battery life has been quite good for many people. Most people are saying there's no real issues there. And in fact, with the YouTube community poll that I run every week and then talk about in the weekend follow-up, not a single person said they've had a bad experience with iOS 26.6 so far. So it looks like everything from battery life to the overall heat and everything else is great. If we go into our settings here, we'll take a look at this one. This is not a device I use full time, but I can share battery life from someone else that sent it in. But this one has 100% battery health with only 24 cycles. If we take a look at someone else's battery, and thanks to Connor for sending this in on an iPhone 17 Pro Max running iOS 26.6 Beta 4, so far he's had 5 hours and 23 minutes of screen active time, 20 minutes of screen idle time, and used just 52% of the battery. So he actually says it's doing quite well, and again that it feels smooth and fast. So no real issues there. When it comes to overall heat, it feels nice and cool to the touch. I'm sure it's processing some in the background, but in general it's been pretty good with 26.6. So we'll take a closer look at that in the weekend follow-up video. When it comes to storage, let's take a look at that. Compared to iOS 27, it should be actually a lot less, but we'll go to General and then iPhone Storage, and I'll show iOS 27 Beta 3 on the left here. So with iOS 26.6 Beta 4 on the right, 27 Beta 3 on the left, you'll see iOS is taking up 22.16 gigabytes. So not that much really compared to 27, 14.45 for iOS, 7.71 for Apple Intelligence. When it comes to system data, this goes up and down as needed. You'll see we're under a gigabyte at this point, but again, it goes up and down as needed as it's indexing and doing other things with cache data in the background. When it comes to benchmarks, let's go ahead and run that. I ran it the other day and it was quite good, but let's run it again and see what we get. I ran benchmarks and the highest score I saw was 3,883 for single core, 9,864 for multi-core. Typically, if you run it a couple times, you can bump this over 10,000, but again, this is well within the margin of error. When it comes to releases, well, based on what we've seen already, I would expect iOS 26.6 RC as soon as next Monday. Typically, we'll have that after the Beta 4 update, and then since we're close to a release, maybe we'll have a public release on the 20th, sometime around then. At the same time, I would expect iOS 27 Beta 4, along with maybe a re-release and public beta as well. We don't have any specific dates from Apple on that yet, but this would probably be the last time we would see iOS 26 betas until close to September. Or maybe we'll have an iOS 27 beta from now until then, but typically we don't see a whole lot other than iOS 27 beta. So that's it for iOS 26.6 and almost iOS 26 in general. After August, we won't really see much more of that. We'll see iOS 27, and since iOS 27 supports all the same devices, we should really not see a whole lot of iOS 26 updates after that. But let me know how it's going for you in the comments below, and of course I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.